how to thrive in business online in today's very crowded world. There's so much online. You get on your phone, you are just scrolling nonstop, and you see ad after ad. What makes someone stop? What makes you stand out? What allows you to earn the trust of someone to give you money, to say yes to you, to work with you, to hire your company, or gets them to buy your book? I don't know what your business is, but obviously you're online, or unless say you live someplace remote and you rent jet skis. I don't know. But what I see, building value in advance more than ever before in history. Pace Morby teaches people how to invest in real estate. Before that, he did hundreds of millions of dollars in real estate transactions. So he wasn't a guy that just decided to teach it. He is the real deal. And then he decided to teach. He just wanted to serve. He didn't know how to enter this industry. He didn't know what Tony and I have been doing for almost 70 years between us, how to sell what you know, how to impact others. He just started helping. And people were saying, no, you're giving away too much. It's too much work. He was building value in advance without realizing. He was building reciprocity. He was building a community of people who appreciated him, who knew and trusted him because he did more for them in advance without asking for anything. And when he did, they surely wanted everything he had.
Need motivation? Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Carmichael, and I make these videos because running the business is hard, and waking up every day and getting to work when you're all by yourself is hard. And the thing that saved me, that continues to inspire me, motivate me, give me hope, inspiration, ideas, is looking at the stories of people who've done a lot more than me. And I learn strategies, I get motivation, and it gets me to believe in myself to go off and attack the day. And so I hope this video inspires you to do the same as well. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Dean Graziosi, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy.
I want you to think about this. Have you watched a webinar in the last year of your life? In a webinar, a 90-minute presentation that makes an offer. I'm not knocking webinars. I've done webinars for 20 plus years. But have you ever watched a webinar that was so just the pitch and you didn't gain any value? By the time you got to the offer, you either bought it because you wanted the product or were mad that you wasted 90 minutes of your life. Guilty, been there, have sat through those and been frustrated at the end. It's one of the reasons we do 5-day challenges and we do 5-day free events. And we do make an offer during those in most all cases after we earn respect, after we deliver massive value. I want to tell you this, we've been in this so long, watching what Pace reminded me of is so many of you are asking for money. You're asking for the purchase without delivering value in advance. When you do, say, a webinar or a sales pitch that doesn't deliver value, when you're done, if you bought, like I said, but if you didn't buy, it's kind of like, oh, it's annoying, and you don't ever do business with that person again. So I want you to think of this frame, and I said it when I was on with Pace, is ripening green fruit. You see, if you do a webinar or you do just a hardcore sales pitch without delivering any value, you're going to get some sales. That's ripe fruit. But all the green fruit are the people that need more data, that want to know, like, and trust you, but you didn't give them enough. They're the green fruit, and you just let that die on the vine. Where smart companies go, hey, I'd love to sell to the people that are ready, but I'd love to deliver so much value to those that aren't ready in advance that when they are ready, I'm the person they choose.
Rule number 2 is always keep learning.
I listen an hour a day, every day of my life, 7 days a week. I listen to personal development. I listen to human psychology, positive psychology. I look at history. I'm feeding my brain every day. Plus, I get to be partners and best friends with Tony Robbins. And so this is a work in progress. So please know I don't have all the answers. But questions like that, I understand. I like thinking of like the going upstream. And every year of my life, as my knowledge turns into wisdom, I realize, I need to go another layer upstream. You know, my dad was diagnosed with diabetes years ago. And when he first got it, he got all this freaking medicine. And just because I'm in this philosophy of going upstream, I'm like, well, could we do something to stop the medicine? And we obsessed on it and we went upstream. And just a simple analogy, we changed his diet, his sleeping habits, when he ate, how he ate. And within 3 months, went back in, diabetes was under control. He hasn't taken medicine in 18 years, right? That's just an upstream philosophy. And what I realized is every time you think you're actually upstream, you're not. You're 10 feet up the stream when there's miles to go, right? I I love that story, and I don't know where the first time I heard it is. It was about medicals, like doctors being overwhelmed. And it talked about these medical doctors or these students in medical school are pulling in a parking lot, and there's a stream by the parking lot, and there's people drowning. And somebody runs out and saves one and saves the other. And every time a new doctor pulls up, it's the overwhelm of doctors, right? And it's like, come help me, come help me. And they're just, as much as they can go out in the stream to pull people out of the river, more people are drowning. And finally, one guy pulls up, he looks, he gets back in his car and starts taking off. And the doctor goes, you horrible bastard, why are you leaving? He's like, because we're never going to solve it here. I'm going to drive upstream and see who's throwing them in and stop it. Mm-hmm. And I've just taken on that philosophy more now than ever, that every time I think I got it solved, I'm like, I'm still not all the way upstream. So it makes me realize that if you have your back against the wall, your brain is telling you, right, the feeling of an underdog, I've made lots of mistakes, I don't know any way out. Your brain is telling you some ass stories, and we know that. Positive story, positive life, get rid of negative beliefs and all that, but sometimes it's just freaking hard. I'm drowning. You're telling me not to have a negative thought. I have 400 pounds on my shoulder and I'm 2 feet underwater.
Rule number 3 is be resourceful.
Underdogs are relentlessly resourceful. I want you to think about this, and I see this in Alex Hormozi's life. So I have to tell you, again, being a friend, about a year ago, Alex hits me up. He's selling his company. He says, hey, I want to come. Can I come consult with you for a day? And I love doing that for friends. I'm 20-something years older than him, been in business longer. So he jumps on a plane, he comes, him and Layla, his wife, come, and we go up. I have a house in upstate Arizona. So we drive up together, and we go, and it's a beautiful mountain house and pine trees all over, and view. It's really beautiful. We're sitting out in the back deck and we're all talking. And he said, and that day I happened to have someone find my home in Arizona, and they jumped over the fence and knocked on the door. They were super polite, just kind of creepy, kind of weird, right? That happens. and I can only imagine for top celebrities, because I'm surely not a top celebrity, but it happened quite often. And he was there, and he's like, man, how could you be forward-facing and be public? I just want to be successful, make a lot of money, but no one know my name. He said, how could you do that? And I said, well, I made a decision a long time ago, Alex, that if that's how I can impact the world, how I can leave a legacy, how I can love what I do every day and still employ hundreds of people and be an amazing dad and leave a legacy for my kids, if being forward-facing allows that impact, then I'm willing to do that. And in that moment, he said, I'm doing it. Now, he went in that year. He's one of the most followed people online now. 1.5 million on YouTube, over 1 million on Instagram. I mean, he is skyrocketing. Why? Because he made a decision. What did he have all the resources? Sure, financially. But what he did, and what I'm going to share with you, is he has found a way, since he started on a gym floor to create a company that he sold with lots of zeros at the end, to be massively resourceful, even if you don't have the resources. Let me ask you something. How many people hit lotto? They got resources, they go broke. Why? Because they weren't resourceful. If you could leave your kids $1 million or leave them the power of being resourceful, which one would you leave them? I know without a doubt you're saying resourceful. I watched that in Alex's life. He's successful now. He has resources and resourcefulness. Oof. You can't touch somebody with both. I promise you right now, you cannot touch somebody with both. But until you have the resources, it's time to be massively resourceful. What Alex did is he studied every single person he could that has done incredible on social media, on YouTube, on Instagram, with a podcast. He found the best practices. That's another thing underdogs do. They learn from people who've already been there. They don't try to figure it out on their own. He learned, he came and spent a day consulting with me, and he went to others and others and others, and he put together his formula, found a way to be resourceful, shot videos, and now he's one of the most watched people online. That's how you model your business. That's how you model your life. Find people who've already done what you want to do and do what they do. So resourcefulness or resources? I'll pick resourcefulness every day of the week. As I repeat way too many times, Agmendino's third scroll, I will persist until I succeed. Well, if you learn from others who have already been there, you are massively resourceful, and you continue to persist, there's no doubt that you will succeed to that next level, wherever area of your life you so choose.
Rule number 4 is use your dark side.
I want to talk about the dark side. No, I'm not talking about Star Wars. I'm talking about going wherever it takes to get the momentum you need to move forward. Listen, the hardest part of any journey, the hardest part of starting something new, to launching the business, to starting the new career, it's always the beginning. It's always the launch pad. It's always the rocket getting the first foot off the ground takes so much energy. When it's out in space, you hit the button, the rocket takes off. So how do we get the momentum in a world where we're worried about the American currency? If you live here in America, we're worried about the diversity. We're worried about a recession. We have so many things plaguing us ever since COVID, more than ever. Just a magnifying glass on some things that were already there. How do we take that? Plus we have our own insecurities, our own self-doubt, our own imposter syndrome, and you compound the two of them. How do we move forward boldly? Be brave? Well, be brave. How do I just survive? Some of those thoughts go in our head, and we have to be able to cut through the noise, cut through and see the path to our next level, and then take the uncomfortable action it takes to get there. And sometimes to get the rocket off the ground, to get the momentum, to take bold action, we have to go to the dark side. Well, that's what Tom Bilyeu called it. I say we have to put everything in our toolbox that we possibly can to keep moving forward. Listen, I would bet to say, can we just be honest? It is healthier to have a compelling future, to create a vision board, to meditate on a daily basis, and meditate with abundance. Meditate on who you're becoming, who you want to become, what you're going to achieve. And I am not making fun of any of that. That is all stuff that if you can do and you should do, and it should be a part of your process. And a compelling future is a must. Do it for love. Do it for respect. Do it for freedom. Do it for control of your calendar. Do it for the thing that you want the most. If we look forward, if it was a year from now and it was the best year of your life, what would the best year of your life look like? And use that as fuel. But sometimes it's not enough. Let's be honest. If it was enough, you'd already be there, wouldn't you? Sometimes we give up. Sometimes we don't even realize the day that we stopped fighting for who we are supposed to be, and we've settled for who we are. So, what is the dark side? Sometimes we got to go on the other side and create the pain in our body of not taking action. What if you don't start the business? What if you don't quit the job that's killing you? What if you don't stop the toxic relationships? What if you don't? Where will you be? Listen, some of it, can we just be really transparent? Some of it's ego. If that's what it takes, use it. Some of it is the pain of being embarrassed, of saying you wanted something and not getting, you'll look stupid in front of other people. Use it. Some of it is when you were young, maybe your parents or friends or family said you weren't good enough, you weren't smart enough, you'd never mount to anything, you'd never do your own thing, you're too lazy, you're insecure. That's what Tom's mom told him, he was too lazy. That's painful. Use it. Go to the dark side.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 5 is overcome limiting beliefs.
I saw someone who came from a family that told her she couldn't do her own thing, that she'd be crazy if she tried, that she should be lucky to have a job, and if she did become an entrepreneur, that it was greedy to be successful. She had a lot of demons to overcome. We all have them, don't we? But when everything got shut down and this vision she had for this beverage company was kind of put on hold and not sure where it's going to go, I could see all those self-doubts, those limiting beliefs, that imposter syndrome pop up like, I had friends, I had family, I had people that invested, they had faith in me, and I'm letting them down. She couldn't control COVID. She couldn't control the fact she couldn't get inventory, but still those demons, that self-doubt, that imposter syndrome, it affects all of us at every phase of our lives. And I just want to share with you, it's okay if you've had those limiting beliefs, those stories, the voices other people chirped in your ear for too long. It's okay if they come back. I'll be honest with you, they never go away. That's just the truth. But here's the cool part. It's not about them going away. It's about us getting better on tackling that, on dancing with it, accepting that, finding a way around it. Like, yes, I'm scared, but I'm moving forward anyway. Yes, because of COVID, I will find a way around it. I will recreate this. I will innovate. I will be resourceful when resources aren't available. I will be creative. I will find a way.
Rule number 6 is schedule your day.
So many of us walk around playing offense. We are playing defense. We just let the world take us where it wants to go. Oh, this happened. Let me fix this. We're answering our emails as they come in. Let's fix this. As our texts, we're like a robot. Oh, text, let me answer. Oh, email, let me answer. Oh, phone call, let me answer. And all of a sudden, boom, it's 5, 7, 10 o'clock at night. Day is gone. Schedule your day before it schedules you. Ready for this one? This is enlightening. Stick to the damn schedule. Schedule the day, stick to the damn schedule. Have a hard end time, have a hard end with deadlines, right? Again, how do you know you're winning the game unless there's a score? In a basketball game, there's a timer, right? And then the game's over. Baseball game, football game, life, there's a timer. But we don't put a timer on our next level. We want more, but we just let the timer go and just figure it'll happen. No, it doesn't happen unless you put a timer on it. So, deadline. Okay, let's get real about time. If we go more than 2 hours straight, a lot of times we'll get fried. I don't mean you can't work 10 hours. I've a lot of days way over 10 hours, but 2 hours, put in hard 2 hours. I'm going to evolve to this thinking, evolve 2 hours, and then take a break. Go take a walk, meditate, work out, stretch, walk around the block. Do yoga, anything. Just take a little break in between 2 hours. You get drained and you're not working in flow. You're not getting stuff done. It's pretty unsustainable to get more than 5 hours of really productive work. I'm not saying you can't work 10, 12 hours. I do, but I'm talking productive work. 5 hours in a day is real. So really, we got to identify the stuff that we need to be doing let's talk about money today, that's making us money, and the stuff that just does not make us money. And define what can we cram into those hours where we're going to be most productive, right? So, now you can pull the slide up, Mike, real quick. Eldrick, 80-20 rule, great book too. It's always on point. Million different ways to skin that. So, my secret weapons, mindset, systems, and proactive planning. Okay, mindset. Every day I create a day set up for success. Let me just push these slides up. Mike, you can come off the slides for a second here. So there's 3 types of days we can have. Let's just face it. Now we're going to back up a little bit to give you the momentum. This is before takeoff for a great day. This is before productivity. Just picture we're on the runway now, and we want to get this plane to go fast, efficient, no shaking, and right to our destination on where we want to fly. We don't want to go up bumpy and fly over here and then fly over here and then, oh, let's look at this here. Oh, what's over here? Shiny object. Oh, squirrel, right? We want a jet that takes off and goes right to our destination. So there's 3 types of days. One where you can wake up insecure and afraid. We have a lot of those days. Oh, man, I hope this doesn't go wrong. What if this goes wrong? What if I don't have money? What if the time? What if I'm stuck in this job, this life forever? What if I never do a deal? What if I? We have those days, right? We also have days where you're you think you're hovering. Like, that's a pretty good day. I got done what I need to get done. That's good. And then we have days that we're on fire. We're courageous. We just want to go to the next level. We have confidence and we take control. Those days, don't we wish we could have those every day? Well, then set your day up for that. Do whatever it takes to make that day happen.
Rule number 7 is analyze your competition.
If you were to start a business tomorrow, I would say what you should do above everything else is find the closest competition that's successful. Even if it's not the exact product, something similar, and stalk them.
stalk every bit of their marketing over everything else. I mean, every detail. Don't just look and say, oh, they're using blue and logos. No, look at the wording, look at the messaging. Why are they getting people to take action? What does their first website look like? Their opt-in page? What is their registration page if they're an online business? What is their follow-through? What does the sales video sound like, look like? What does it talk about? What are the key words? What are the headlines? If you get an email from the company, what's the subject line? What's written in the email? What does the link look like? And then I would order the product. Do what entrepreneurs do best. Cut a check for speed. Order the product. Order the similar product or something in the same genre. How does the product get there? What are the shipping options? How long does it take to arrive? When it arrives, do you get an email? And what's the email say? Does it offer you additional products? When you order the products, does it offer you additional products at a discount or additional services that you can help with? When the product gets there, dissect it, pull it apart. Then as far as product goes, how can you improve upon the product? How can you put a unique twist on it? How can you go upstream and make it one step better, disqualifying the competition, making yours the universal piece? What I'm saying is, most people focus on the products, the colors, the look, the feel, ask opinions. Most of your energy has to be obsessed on the marketing to get people to want what it is so you can serve them. Yes, make your product the best on the planet, but once you do, your product, your service, your idea, your company, the houses you sell, whatever it is you want to do, make sure it's the best. But once it's the best, your obsession has to be on marketing. Marketing and sales are the oxygen for every successful business. But people will spend 90% of their energy on the completely wrong things. Go, oh, I'm just going to put it out there, and if I build it, they will come. If I put it for sale, they'll take it. That's simply not true. That's Field of Dreams. That's a movie with Kevin Costner. If you build it, they will come. They won't come. They will never come. You focus on marketing. Read books on marketing. Read books on copywriting. Find competitors that they're not competitors. They're not even in the same genre as you, but they're killing it online or killing it with their retail store, and see what they're doing. See how they treat their customers. See how their customer service sounds. Guys, if you want your own business to thrive, or you want to start your own business, you got to throw away most everything you're taught, because they're all wrong. What is it? 70% of all businesses fail within the first 5 years? This is why. The focus is wrong. Listen, are there outliers where you build it and they come? Yes, that's 1 in a million. Then there's another gazillion people trying, working their asses off. And I'm not saying it's laziness. Sometimes it's the hardest work ever. But if it doesn't sell, if people don't buy it, if people don't talk about it, if people don't refer it, then it's just a really great idea.
Rule number 8 is learn to say no.
Work on the hardest things first. Because once you do, then it's like, I schedule Mondays and Tuesdays for calls and meetings with the teams, because truth is, I don't like meetings. I don't like going through spreadsheets and KPIs and SOPs and counting numbers, but I have to, or else I wouldn't be in business. So I just schedule them for Monday and Tuesday, and then I get to be in my creative space on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, sometimes Saturday and Sunday. I want to share this. I wrote this in another training I did. Look at this. Stuff knowledge brokers do, or self-education industry, or you could put this, if you're not in that business, which I know the majority of you are, but you could put anything. But this is the stuff knowledge brokers do. We answer emails. We surf online looking for what others are doing. We browse social media and see if anything interesting is going on. We create specific to-do lists. We obsess on your name or your logo. We ask friends and family their opinions. We worry about what could go wrong. We obsess on thinking that we need to know everything before we launch, that we got to be perfect. We think if we build it, people will just come. We read things that feed us with self-doubt. We put off things that are uncomfortable until another day. And the list goes on of what we do. But what should we be doing? Stuff that actually matters. Identifying your first or next dot. Create and lay out the program. Build the course and set a date that it's going to go live. Let the world know through effective marketing. Deliver your training, and then do more of the above. Sometimes there's a lot of gray area that lives between those lines. Wouldn't you agree? And at the end of the week, you go, damn, I was so busy. But did you really work on the needle movers? That's the important part. That's the part we have to ask ourselves. That's the part we need to go deeper on. None of us are perfect at this. I work on this with myself all the time. But what I'm sharing with you, this is not stuff that is somebody else's journey. This is the stuff I get to do. Take what serves you, throw the rest away. If there's something I share today like that's stupid, that's okay. But I want to tell you, I've tried everything. I obsess on these strategies. I want to be more effective. I want to show up and be here for you. But simultaneously, I want to be honest with you. I don't want to take that time away from my wife, I found the love of my life. I fall more in love every day. I love being a dad. I love my team. I love creating. I love innovating. I decided this weekend I'm going to write my next book right now. I'm going to start soon. I'm writing my next book. It's The World Needs It, right? I want to do all these things. I got 2 new companies I started with Tony. I'm investing in things. There's so many things I'm doing. So the only way that I can do those things and be here and be more present with you and not take it away from my children is I really need to know what I'm working on a regular basis and say some hard no's, right? I need to say no to so many things so I can say yes to you, yes to your success, yes to little Luca and Brianna and Brody. And my daughter just decided she wants to go really all the way in on pitching. Like she said, I want to crush high school and pitch all through high school. But I'm not going to say no to you. But I audit my time and I'm figuring out every single month, like what's got to go. Because I'm going to catch for my daughter. My son's got baseball practice 2 days a week with 2 games on the weekend. I'm not missing the practices or the baseball. This seems impossible, doesn't it? Like, do you ever think about it and be like, how the hell do you get all that done? And I know all of you are busy. I'm not bragging. I've just found a way to always audit my time, what to say no to discipline myself, to measure what matters and do what matters to me. Some of you could give 2 craps about some of the things I like, but that's okay. This is what makes my DNA. But you need to find your DNA, what's important to you, and start saying no. Start saying no. Being selfish is good. Now, not in all ways, of course, but being selfish in your time that allows you to provide yourself the things to reach your full potential is the place where you need to be selfish.
Rule number 9 is value your time.
My first apartment house, it was an old rundown mansion.
Massive lesson here, everybody.
Yeah, it was an old rundown apartment house, a mansion, beat up, old big house. And I ended up getting the house for no money down, and I converted it into 10 apartments. So what was cool is I'd fix one up. I was living in it while I fixed it. And then as soon as it was done, I'd rent it and I'd move in one not done. But I got through all 10 of them.
Crazy.
So now I have this 10-unit apartment house. It's doing great for me. I'm 19, 20 years old. You know, it's bringing me in $5,000 a month net, which was a gazillion dollars because now I'm living for free. Yeah. And and plus it's building value. So I got no money down, refinanced it, pulled some cash out. I used that money to go into the next one. Long story short, had a huge lawn. So every Saturday, because my dad was born during the Depression, my dad grew up with, if you could do it yourself, you don't pay anybody, right? So every Saturday I'd spend 5 hours. I had a massive lawn. I'd mow, I have allergies, so my eyes are tearing, I'm weed whacking you, hits your legs, and it's just, and then one day I realized, wow, I'm mowing my lawn a whole day. I hired the kid down the street for $50 to mow my lawn, and he's mowing the lawn, my dad pulls in. True story, zero exaggeration. I tell it to my dad all the time. He's like, sorry, I was wrong. My dad pulls in, he goes, and this is how my dad talks to me, whether you think it's true or not. He goes, Mr. Big Shot, you finally went too far. You're so freaking big now that you're gonna pay someone to mow your lawn when you can do it. And he got so mad that he left and he hit the gas, and it was gravel driveway, and he dented the out of the side of my car. It was just like, dunk, 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 dunk. And I'm like, and he left, and maybe he gave me the finger when he was leaving or something like that. That's my dad. He's got an Italian hot head, right? And he left, and it was so profound that I knew at that moment I was onto something. I really did. I'd love to say it was this epiphany and the sky opened up, but I was like, wow, my dad still struggles. And what I realized, and this is what I want to share with you, is I realized an ROI on my time. At that time, I had 15 apartments. I had 2 houses being built. I had a collision shop and a used car dealership. If I went down to the used car dealership and sold 1 car, I probably netted about $2,000 a car back then. I sold lower end cars. So in that day, without mowing the lawn, if I sold 1 car, it cost me $50 to mow the lawn, I made $2,000. Or if I drove around that day and found my next apartment house, could be tens of thousands of dollars. And it just hit me. It was so profound at that moment that I'm going to start equating things I do with an ROI. Yes. It's like if and the great part is if you keep noodling it, it doesn't matter if something costs you $500 an hour. If you're working in your unique ability, you can make $10,000 an hour, still pay someone to do it.
And rule number 10, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is pursue the life you desire.
So many times in life, people look like things are going well. Maybe this has been a point in your life where you've experienced this, and maybe you are now. To the outside world, you're doing well. The family looks well. The job looks great. But inside, you know you were meant for more and you're suffering. We've all been there. And And I think sometimes we have to practice gratitude. That's an absolute fact. Sometimes we have to appreciate what we have. Sometimes we got to walk through our house and go, wow, I once loved that. I was once proud to buy that. I'm so glad she married me or he married me. Sometimes we have to have a little gratitude for the things we now take for granted. But then there's other times when you realize you built a life and it's not yours. It's not the job that you dreamed of. It's not the impact you wanted to make on the world. It's not the passion and the relationship you're hoping to keep. It's not the time with your children so you can end your life. When you end your life someday at 100 years old, you say, I spent the time I needed to spend with them to live fulfilled people on this planet. Sometimes, yes, we have to practice gratitude. Other times you have to get disturbed with your current life and say, this is not me. It is not enough. It is scary, but I must shift. I must reinvent. I must rewrite my future. And that's why I love doing these podcasts. That's why I love having amazing guests, because sometimes you just need that little thing that says it is time to move. You know, I've been blessed to have some cool things and become friends with Matthew McConaughey, and we did that amazing event together. But I love when he says the not knowing scares him. What keeps him up at night is not knowing, therefore he must, right? If you read his book, Green Lights, he fought a guy in an African tribe that kicked his butt, but he's like, the thought of not knowing what it'd be like to fight him, I had to do it. That was the fun one. But also there was things like quitting law school and trying to become an actor or going to film school. There were certain times in his life where the fear of not knowing drove him forward. And maybe today's a good day for you to say, do I suffer in silence? Is it that you need just to appreciate what you have? Or are you on the wrong path and you have to get disturbed and you have to shift the path? It's not easy and it's scary, but it is a must.
When the outside world is out of control, we need a place to be plugged in so we can find inner control, inner strength. When the world is seeing obstacles, we need to see opportunity. The only person you have to be better than is the person you were last week, last month, last year. Let regrets go. Let them burn down in the previous year. Let hesitation, let procrastination, let imposter syndrome burn down and realize we all get to start fresh today. We can't rewrite the past. We can't predict the future, but we can take ownership of our actions today so we create a culture of progress, of just moving forward at your pace. When you doubt yourself, move forward. When your mind tells you, we can't do this, move forward. When you're feeling a little off, come back to this amazing community and get the support of friends. And I know it sounds crazy, people use this word lightly, but come back to this family. And also, I love sharing the word uncomfortable action, because usually when we take action into something new, it is uncomfortable. And if it feels uncomfortable, congratulations, you're on the right track. Okay, today, busy weekend. I had a business mastery with Tony, but I got to do that virtually. But more important, I am at a mastermind. Hence, we own mastermind.com, because masterminds have changed my life more than any other one thing. My hand's getting a little tired here, so I'm going to switch. And hence why we own it. That's why we love this company. It's the collectiveness. Mastermind is described by Napoleon Hill is two or more minds coming together and creating one smarter version. And man, women, you know, really, it is the biggest game changer in my life. Now, I don't get to do it as much as I used to. Multiple times a year. I used to do it almost every month. But I'm up here with people you'd know. It's a small group of people where we come together and all share our greatest experiences, our greatest breakthroughs, how we impact people the most. We also come here and share our biggest challenges or opportunities, and we help each other through them. The benefit of staying connected to people who have the same dreams as you, the same goals as you, and the reason I'm sharing this is because you would never believe the success that people had in that room, while simultaneously you would never believe that they still deal with the same human condition, the same worries, the same questions, the same feeling of imposter syndrome, the same feeling, am I focusing too much on my business and ignoring my family, or am I ignoring my family too much and not going all in on business? The feeling of not being good enough when I'm trying to go to the next level. I want to get to your level and I don't know if I have the capabilities, and what if no one believes? All the same feelings you have. You would think someone who gets successful, the problems go away and the worries go away. They don't.
don't. What they do is you learn to deal with bigger problems. You learn to handle bigger responsibilities, and you become a better version of you. Don't wish for things to get easier. Wish for you and work hard to get better. Beating yourself up has never got you to the finish line at the level you want to be. It's a true story. I've never seen it happen. Stop it. Whether it's a thought, whether it's an action, whether it's a friend you hang out with that makes you feel absolutely miserable about yourself, stop it. You're in control. We just agreed life is going by too fast. It's going by in a heartbeat. So stop it. What can you learn from it? Right? All obvious stuff. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm not, I never heard this before. But the things that went wrong in the first half of this year, what if they're a blessing? What if you take Tony's word, life happens for us, not to us, and you were supposed to fail. They were supposed to let you down. They were supposed to not be there for you when you thought they should be. They were supposed to question you and say, it might work for other people. I don't know if it'll work for you. They were supposed to do that. Why? Because God's got a bigger plan and wants to know if you have the stamina to keep going and actually use that as fuel, not your anchor. So what went sideways? How can you analyze it and how can you learn from it? Then, this is the brilliant part. What if what went wrong was just a millimeter or two away from going right? How can you adjust it? How can you tweak it? How can you modify it? And if it's not, how do you throw it away? I used to say this all the time on New Year's. I have these crazy visuals. This is how my simple, like 7th grade education brain works, okay? I look at my past as if your past is on all these shelves in this little building, right? Everything that happened in the first 6 months of this year, as everything's on the shelf, the good, bad, and the ugly, right? And you have a suitcase, and the building catches on fire, and you got 5 minutes to put in your suitcase everything you want to bring with you into the second half of this year. And then you know what you do with the rest of it? You let it burn. You let it burn. If you failed, what lesson can you learn from it? And let that burn down, right? Don't hold on to it. We make mistakes. I just want to show you how important these things are. And we can change them today. We could stop it today. We can learn from it today. We could stop hitting our thumb with the hammer and expecting it not to hurt anymore. It will continue to hurt. It will continue not to serve you. So how do you let the past burn to the ground and just learn and carry over the finish line what you need? I don't know how to start a company that's not making money and raise a whole bunch of capital and use other people's money to see if you make it work. Now, I'm not knocking that at all. It's because I'm limited on my knowledge on that. That's it. I'm just not smart enough to know how to do it. And I have so many friends that are in Silicon Valley, and everybody's fighting to come up with the next thing, the next widget, the next app, the next Facebook, the next Instagram. They're fighting for that. And a lot of these companies will go raise 20, 30, 50 million. Some of them raise 400 million before they've made $1, before they've made a penny. And then I look at, now, again, I'm not knocking this. I don't want to seem like I'm bitter. I have so many successful friends that their families were successful, and they just carried it on. That's what I want with my kids. I don't want to have to make my kids suffer. I want to teach them the right values so they take on what I've done and start off where I left off, right? But just think about if everything went smooth. You weren't an underdog. Nothing went wrong in your childhood. Perfect parents, perfect income, perfect location. Then you went to the perfect college. And then when you got out of the perfect college, you had the money to start a company. I've watched this happen. Sometimes when you have money to start a company, you're setting yourself up for failure because you don't need it to cash flow. So I'm going to use this one example, this one thought process is every company I've ever started. I sold firewood in high school, fixed wreck cars out of high school, fixed wreck cars for business, fixed wreck cars to sell, and then I started buying rundown houses and remodeling them and putting apartments in them, and then I started subdividing land and building houses, and then I went in the education business, and then the book business, and the live event business, and then, sharing now in masterminds and trainings like this, right? As I went through all those companies, never once in any of them did anyone ever give me money to start. So guess what I had to be? Unfair advantage number 3. I had to be innovative. I had to create cash flow
profitable companies. So now what you could say is, oh man, I have nobody in my family that's got money. I have nobody that's got faith in me to lend me money. I can't get any money from the bank. Damn it, I can't go in business. Or you can say, I have no money. Banks won't give me money. I have no friends that'll lend it to me, no partners. I gotta be innovative. I gotta find ways to cash flow right away. My company's cash flow 2 weeks, 3 weeks into the company, because I have to. That's how I grow everything. But that started because I was a broke kid with nothing. Now I know no other way. I'm gonna launch 2 new companies you'll see over the next 6 months, gonna blow your mind. One partnering with a great dude in the fitness world, and something else that I gotta wait and tell you when it's done. But both of those companies, I could fund both of them with millions of dollars, just being honest. I'm not. I'm using the same model, that same innovativeness, that's the word, being innovative, coming up with unique ways to say, no, I'm not one of those guys that's gonna run a company for 5 years and get a great evaluation and hope this, I don't know how to do that. I was an underdog with nothing, and I had to use that to my advantage, and that advantage turned it into, I had to find a way to be innovative, I keep using that word, to be cash flow right away or I would be broke. So now, take that underdog disadvantage and make it your underdog advantage. You don't have money, and if you don't think you can make something work without using money, then Google people that have. Google Richard Branson, Tony Robbins, me, so many successful people started with nothing. I know you might be facing stuff that I don't even know about. I get that. But here's what I know. Did you ever have a headache and you go online and you Google for what could this headache be? And by the time you're done, you feel like you got a tumor and you got 3 months to live, right? We find what we were looking for. If you went online with the headache and wanted to search for someone that said, you just didn't have enough water, drink a glass, you'll be fine, you could find that in 2 minutes. But our brains want to go towards the tumor and what could be worst case scenario. So we do that in our own lives. Like, I don't have any money. Look, my friend tried with no money, it didn't work. You're just searching for what went wrong. Your subconscious is looking for security so you can feel safe about your inaction. Get disturbed, get uncomfortable. Go online and Google and find successful people who started with nothing, that had massive fear, that were scared. And all of a sudden you'll see all these people, all these millionaires, all these great, hugely successful people that started with nothing. And all of a sudden you start building momentum, and then you say, I'm gonna create innovation here. I'm gonna create cash flow. We're talking about business, but could that be the same in every area of your life? Of course it can. So think of the unfair advantage we have of being an underdog because we get to be creative. So many times in life, because of this thing, this phone that's in all of our pockets, we are so connected to everything. Everything is in the moment, right? People can text you and email you and call you. It's so in your face that I think it's the busiest we've ever been, and our brains don't even have time to set goals in the way we used to, because we're just trying to get through the day. Like, some of us are like, I just want to make it through the night. Your head hits the pillow, you're like, oh, I made it out alive. It's hard. It's like a dust cloud around us, and we're expected to set goals when we can't even see 2 feet in front of us. So I like to do it a little differently, and this is how I set my compelling future. Let's call it a compelling future, not just goals for the next 12 months. Let's talk about our compelling future. I like to pretend it's 1 year from today, and instead of us looking through the dust cloud, let's pretend it's a year from now and we're looking backwards, and let's pretend it was the best year of your life. What would have to happen in your life for it to be the best year of your life, in your career or your income or your business or your relationships or love or health? I want you to trick your brain. I want you to focus it and live it, positive focus, as if it already happened. Take a moment and really visualize. We have the opportunity to pretend it's a year from now and we're looking backwards. Yeah, I wrote the book. You could even, Sue, you said my book is written. Great, your book is done. Take it one step further. My book is done, and there's people all over the world with my book in their hands. And they're reading it, and they're on chapter 6, and they get that story I never told anybody except what I wrote in this book, and God, it feels good when they hit me up on social media and tell me about chapter 6. The more we visualize, the more we have a positive focus on it, the more it's not just this dream, it's our reality that we just haven't got to yet. When we can see it in our head, eventually we can hold it and see it because it's real. So I'd love for you to shift this whole goal
process thing and turn it into a compelling future and put yourself in that spot.
In life, stuff will always go sideways. People will let you down, take advantage of you. The money won't come through. People that you thought had your back really are the ones talking about you or wishing you bad thoughts. All those things happen. No matter what, those things happen. So for my daughter, she had a birthday party. She turned 15. Unbelievable. I can't believe my little girl's 15 years old. And she had a bunch of great friends over, and the girls had the time of their life. But the next day she went to school, or 2 days later she went to school, and one of the girls had a misunderstanding, thought that my daughter and other girls were talking about her. So fast forward a day, that's a big deal at 15 years old. So I said to my daughter on the way to school, I said, babe, what's bugging you? Nothing. You know, she's 15, she's kind of strong, independent. I said, I can feel it, I can see it, no smiles on your face. What's wrong, hon? Finally, she tells me, and she tells me the whole story. And she is so nervous going to school, and she wants to talk to the girl and let her know she would never talk about her. She thinks she's amazing and all these things, but she was so worried and no smile, no happiness, no joy. Now, that was a Saturday, it was a Sunday. This was Monday, the first day at school. So why am I telling you this story about my daughter? You're probably thinking, hey, I got my own stuff going on. But let me tell you the lesson I told her. But as soon as I was done, I knew it was for me. It's for you. It's for all of us. So we're driving, and I'm thinking, what do you tell a 15-year-old? I'm always giving her lessons, and I didn't want her to be like, oh, Dad, not another lesson. I wanted it to hit hard. So I said, you know, babe, I totally get it. And you're 15. It's gonna be, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna have emotions, and you can't get this right. I probably didn't get it right. Well, I probably still don't have it right. But I didn't get it right till I was in my 40s. I hope that I can help you get there a lot quicker. So I said, let's just talk about this weekend. Now it's Monday, you're going to school, you're waking up, and the only thing on your mind is what went wrong, what your friends could say. People might have heard that you did something that you didn't do. There's nothing worse than being accused of something that didn't happen, especially when you're a teenage girl in a new high school and all these things. And she goes, yeah, it's kind of what I'm thinking. I said, you see how your brain hijacks you? She's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, man, your brain can just mess with you. And she's like, Dad, I don't understand. I said, okay, this weekend, it was your birthday weekend. Her birthday happens to be on my birthday. Pretty amazing. So on her birthday morning, I woke up super early and I went to the store and I got all her favorite pastries and all her favorite things to drink. So when she woke up, she had this spread of muffins and donuts and bagels, and she loves this orange drink with mango and all laid out for her. She's like, oh, Dad, thanks. And then we went to the store and we did cool stuff and then got her some clothes that she wanted. And then at 4 o'clock, her friend that she hadn't seen since last year, who went away for high school, has been gone for 6 months. Her best friend in the world since second grade showed up. And she was like, oh my God. And they were hugging each other in tears. And then all of her 9 friends came over. And they had dinner and amazing time and laughs. And they did amazing things. They stayed up. They laughed so hard till 1 o'clock in the morning. Most of them lost their voice because they had so much fun. We woke up the next day on Sunday, and my littlest boy, Luca, was baptized, and she came to the baptism and got to witness that. And then she had this Friendsgiving with a whole bunch of friends, and all these amazing things happened. But Monday, what is her brain focusing on? What does all of our brains focus on in so many instances? Her brain was focusing on the one thing that went wrong, that could have gone wrong. Her brain, and that's why I said to her, you didn't wake up saying, oh my God, my birthday was amazing. I celebrated with my dad. All my friends were over. Dinner was great. I saw my best friend in the whole world I haven't seen in 6 months. I witnessed my little brother getting baptized. I had Friendsgiving. Yay, happy Monday. She woke up and her brain said, oh my God, the girls think you were talking about you. They're going to look at you funny and life is over. How many times do we do that when we want to start the business, start the next level of life, start the relationship, fix the relationship, have a be bonded with our friends? Our brain goes, they're talking about you. She doesn't love you anymore. He's not that into you. The business is going to fail. This economy, the winter is coming, inflation, the president, the last president, the future president. Our brains want to hijack our thoughts and drive us down a road of what went wrong, what we don't have, or what we lost. And here's the thing I want to share with you in this quick message. Life can never be abundant. You will never create the level of happiness, joy, success, income, focusing on what went wrong, focusing on the one thing wrong rather than what you have to work with or what went right. So as I told my daughter this story, as she left, now it's not like she was like, oh, wow, I feel amazing. But I watched her come home from school and she was like, in a good mood. And she was like, Dad, thanks for before. That's the most I'll ever get, right? But that's okay. I know she got it. And then the second lesson, part of that, they were fine by 10 o'clock in the morning. Everything was settled once they talked. I said, here's something to remember too. Most of everything we worry about doesn't come true. But it's a crutch that'll keep us stuck if we let it dominate our mind. So that was my message for my daughter in 9th grade, 15 years old. But isn't it a message we all need? Don't we all need to focus on what we do have to work with, what we've been blessed with, the experiences went through, even if the things were wrong in our lives, it built the grit, it built the experience, it built the knowledge and the wisdom. In the words of Tony Robbins, what if life happened for us, not to us? And we use that back, all that data as the wind behind our sails and realize that we're here to fight another day. These are crazy times, but in crazy times, that's when real wealth, real abundance, real success, real growth is formed. So we can decide to sit back and hope someone else is coming to save us. That ain't never happening. Or we could say, this is my time. I'm going all in. I'll take my past. I'll use it as my fuel. I'll check out what I do have and use it as an asset rather than focusing on what I don't. And let's take life to another level.
Whatever you believe in, I think you make a mistake and you keep doing it. It's like, you make a mistake, even if you make it 2 or 3 times, but finally one day you learn from it and decide to never do that again. I think that's what life is. You deserve a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth chance. I don't want you to think I got this all figured out. You don't have to have it figured out. And it's okay if you screwed up. Excuse my language, if you f***ed up more than once, a whole bunch of times. If you let people down, if you hurt someone. I don't believe you're a bad person. I believe you made a bad decision. We can loathe in it. We could focus on what we did wrong or what other people did wrong to us. Or we could say, enough is enough. Today is the decision. I did wrong in the past or someone did me wrong, but that is the past. I'm going to learn from those mistakes. I'm going to model somebody who's doing it right. And damn it, I am bringing that into my life. 0 questions. When I made that decision, I manifested the relationship I'm in. So many people look at Lisa and I, they're like, oh, you two got so lucky. Screw that, it wasn't. Look, I decided who I was gonna be with. I wrote down who was not acceptable. I wrote down everything that was a must and everything that was unacceptable. Somebody who, talks about the glass half empty, somebody who talks about other people, someone who's not into their health, someone who's not sociable, like all these things. And I just decided to do nothing else except that. Unacceptable, acceptable. And I brought that into my life, and so did she. And I remember thinking to myself, you don't deserve another chance. You had it and you blew it. Go get a job, settle. It's like this inner villain, right, that I write about in Millionaire Success Habits, wanted to tell me to do that. But guess what? Somehow I found a way that I said, I deserve a second chance. I deserve a 5th chance. And I learned from those mistakes. I modeled people like you're doing right this minute that were more successful than me. I realized there was no magic money machine. It was all these little fundamentals that we teach month after month right here. I started compounding that, and I'm blessed to be here right now with you at the most successful time of my life. I want to say this. If you are down and out right now, you deserve a second and third chance. If your business is doing okay, or you're getting ready to start your business, or just starting off doing okay, you deserve for that to be a monster. If your business is thriving, like some of you, I know so many of you on here who are crushing it, it's time for your next level. You deserve this. You're ready for this. And if your business is crushing, but your health sucks, if your business is crushing and your relationship is if you're more excited about being out on the road and seeing strangers than the person at home, we gotta fix that shit. Seriously. I was aligned in so many parts of my life except for my relationship. And now I can't tell you how it feels to be congruent in all areas of my life. So when we're here, do I want you to make more money? A ton more. Give it all away if you want. Impact the world. Do I want you to have more freedom? More than anything. More control of your time? Yes. But I'd love for you to take all these pieces and balance each area of your life because you deserve it. We do not want to get successful to avoid problems. We want to, as Jim Rohn says, for things to get better, we have to get better. We have to get better at handling bigger problems. So when a problem comes up, you go, I got this one, bring it to me. Not, oh, I can't get this one. When I did some of my first real estate deals 20-something years ago, man, it was a heavy lift to make $5,000. Oh my God. What I had to go through and the stress and the worry and big problems to solve to make $5,000, which is amazing. Here's what I realized. It's the same energy to close a $5 million deal and a $50 million deal. It's the same. So if I'm gonna solve problems, the bigger the problems you solve, the more success you have. If you don't wanna solve any problems, zero, you could go get a 9-to-5 job working maybe in an assembly line. Zero problems to solve. Is that what you want? And would you do that for even a lot of money? Would anybody do it for 150 grand a year, just sit on an assembly line and go, oh, I take this, I put it here. Would any of you do that? But man, to go invent the assembly line, that's a pain in the ass. Invent innovation, flow. Someone solved the problem of the assembly line. That guy's a multimillionaire. If we want more success, we do not want to avoid problems. We become a problem lover. We just want to solve bigger problems. How's that for a shift in your mindset?
Sometimes, without realizing, our brain says, I thought we'd be further ahead by now. Maybe it's too late. I am getting kind of older. I don't have the energy I used to have, right? I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm too broke. I'm not enough. Ooh, that's a big one. It's too hard. No one supports my dreams. It takes money to make money. It takes more support. It takes more time. Listen, I don't know what the story is, and maybe you guys could share some of the stories, but if you really think back at some of the thoughts, when things get tough, when you want to go for it, listen, I'm not talking about, let's just say it like it is. I'm not talking about you doing the things that are easy for you. We teach people, for those of you who are new, my obsession, my partner Tony Robbins and I, we teach people, a lot of my family members are in here in our Project Next and mastermind.com. We teach people how to be in the knowledge industry, right? Sometimes people will do the easy part, like create their site, create the logo, create all the training, and have this beautiful site. And it's like how to cure diabetes naturally, or how to sell better, love better, find love, how to get through menopause easier, all these great things. Because that part aligns with who they are, they can do it really quick. But then it's like, ooh, I got to start posting on social media and my friends and family are going to find out, or ooh, I think I got to shoot a video. And all of a sudden, that story is, I'm not that good. I might not be good on camera. My friends will think I'm nuts. This won't work. And all of a sudden, I'm too old. I don't know how to use this technology. All of those things start coming in. Without realizing it, you're subtly backing up and you're playing a little bit small. And those stories, as you get more successful, they're always there. At every level, we have to identify. I want you to hear me. I went from the brokest kid in my school to doing better than I ever thought possible, okay? Along that whole journey, I want to tell you, there's always a story screwing me up that I have to identify and throw out and be like, oh my God, I can't believe that one's still here. That I'm not smart enough, that people are going to figure out that I'm not the smartest guy in the room, and all these things. And once you identify the story, it sticks out like a sore thumb. I promise you there's a story or a thought pattern that helped really ingrain it in you. And I'm going to encourage you, please try to find that story, uproot it. You have to identify it, and you got to write it down. Because once you write it down, you can say, I know my enemy, right? That story. Listen, someone asked me in a podcast about a year ago, if you could meet your 17-year-old self and tell them anything, you only had a moment to talk to your 17-year-old self, what would you say? I'd say, change your story, change your life. What's going to hold you back is the story around why you can or why you can't. Henry Ford said, if you think you can, you will. If you think you can't, you won't. And that, you got to realize that subtle story sometimes is not the big, you can't, you're too old, you're horrible, you're this. It's like, do you really think that'll work? Do you really think I'm smart enough? Do you think the tech is too high? Do you think I could really have, love like that really doesn't exist. Being 50, can you really get in good shape? It only takes this tiny little story for you to back out enough to play small enough that it's self-fulfilling. Listen, I know sometimes it's hard. Those that want more, do more, go for more are the oddballs. They're the crazy ones at first. But remember this, They don't make statues of critics. They make statues of the dreamers, the crazy ones that kept pushing forward. If you believe there's more, like Dale Carnegie said, if you know you have more potential and you're not utilizing it, that's the definition of unhappiness. And let me ask you a question. Do you think this is the first time in history things have gone sideways? Man, I've been obsessing on books right now for the last 4,000 years. This has been the same cycle over and over and over. The last 500 years, the exact same cycle. But why has there still been people that have been massively successful, massively happy, even in times of change? How could that be? Because they didn't let the outside world affect the inside game. And those that can master the inner game thrive significantly more than those that are paralyzed trying to figure out what's next. Don't count on anybody else. Count on you and the strength you have inside of you. Find a way to convince yourself that what you're doing is part of your journey and fall in love with what you're currently doing. Yes, you can shift it just like that if you think to yourself, what I'm currently doing is just a stepping stone to who I'm going to become. Because how we do one thing is how we do everything. You can't say, I hate this job, and you're just getting by until something comes along, because maybe something will never come along. You'll never have the nerve. But if you fall in love with what you're doing, you get 10 times better, become the best at it, opportunity opens up like crazy. When I was working in a collision shop, working on cars every single day, I hated it. But I found a way to fall in love with it, and I became the best of the best. It was temporary. It was a bump in the road. But if I would have hated it forever, I might still be doing it. It could be, am I too old? Could be, am I too young? It could be, I'm not that good with tech. I live in the wrong area. I'm in the wrong country. Could be a million things. Remember, it's all a state of mind. If you think you're too old, you are. If you think you're too young, you are. If you think it's too hard, it is. How many people do we know that reinvented themselves in their 60s, their 70s, their 80s? My dad is reinventing himself right now at 85 years old. It is all a state of mind. I took 35 years of being in business for myself. Yes, 35 years. I was 17 when I started a firewood cutting business. Actually, 16. I started a firewood cutting business. And along that journey of firewood business and my parents being married 9 times and this journey of obsessing and reading and starting 13 companies and doing more than I ever imagined possible, going on to being a multiple New York Times bestselling author and partner with Tony Robbins and donate millions to charity and all this great stuff. Along that journey, I've now looked back and I recognize what are the pieces that propelled me forward? What kept my state of mind? What suppressed the inner villain or suppressed the inner imposter syndrome or that inner self-doubt and unleashed this power that moved me forward even when I was uncomfortable? What allowed me to find the motivation, the inspiration, the enthusiasm, the excitement, the energy? How do I stay in shape? How do I have the love of my life, be the dad I want, balance power, balance time? How to persuade ethically? All of those things are the things that allowed me to be here. We can replace any limiting story with a story of empowerment. And when you attach those emotions to goals, you become unstoppable. So you know where you are with honesty. Then we must decide, where is it that we truly want to go? Who do we want to be in a year from now? Think of that question. I didn't say, what do you want? Who do you want to become a year from now? What kind of income, happiness, joy, health do you want? Let's pretend it's a year from now. Pretend it's the best year of our lives. And what does that look like when you look in the mirror, when you look in your bank account, when you get up to do your daily thing? Is it going to an office or is it doing your own thing where you're impacting others, right? So if we know where we are and we know where we want to go, then we talked about attaching the emotion of why. Why do you want to make more money, have more love, have a better body, or be in better shape? Why do you want to find self-love again or get out of that bad habit? Why? It's always deeper, right? Could be for family, could be for freedom, could be because you want control of your decisions, your time, right? Could be that you want to be a better parent, a better husband, a better wife, a better spouse, a better significant other. I don't know your why, but when you attach your heart to your goal, you become unstoppable. The last piece, if you know where you are and you know where you want to go, if you attach your heart, the last piece is, how are you going to get there? What capabilities do you need to keep your mindset sharp, to never lose your confidence, to stay in the right state of mind, to unleash that inner hero that lives in all of us, to stay happy, abundant, to focus on solutions, to move forward, to not feel like an imposter? What capabilities do you need? I believe we are heading into a life preserver time right? If you think about, if we just look at history, I'm not an economist and I'm not predicting the future, but I think everybody's aware of this. We just have to face it because I get to talk to people, especially if you're under 35, you really don't know what it looks like for an economy to shift, as Jim Rohn said and Tony Robbins says, heading into winter, heading into a recession. If we just look at history, we say we have 45-year high inflation, right? You see it in gas and prices and food and milk and everything possible. We have interest rates that have gone up 3 times now just in the past month, and it's predicted that interest rates will go up 6 more times by the end of the year, right? If you look at the stock market today on your phone, if you have an Apple phone, it pops up. What has the stock market done every day for the last, I don't know, month or so? It's creeping down. Usually when you're in a place like this, it's people are going, oh, it's temporary. It could be a hiccup. If you look over time, it has all the ingredients, and people smarter than me sharing that we're heading towards a recession. We're heading towards some sort of winter. And the other thing I want you guys to think about, and what does that mean for you, is if you push down a trampoline a little bit, right, what happens to it? It bounces back around the same height, right? We've just had a 15-year run where like you couldn't mess up. Interest rates got cheaper. They printed more money. If you look at the last 15 years of the stock market, it's like this with a couple little dips. That's like pushing the trampoline way down, and what a lot of these experts predict is since we had such a solid run for that long, what's the opposite of pushing something really far down? It's the opposite and equal reaction to the action. I hope I'm completely wrong. It's a tiny hiccup, and there's another 15 years of a great market. I hope that. I hope it for you, everybody. But I wouldn't be a good friend, leader, teammate if I didn't share what could potentially be happening. So, with that said, here's the cool part. In 2007, when the world shifted the last time, when there was the savings and loan and banking issues and the crash, and every other house, if you're here in America, in your neighborhood was for sale or in foreclosure, when that happened, my self-education business exponentially grew. 2007, 2008 were some of the best years of my life up until that point. And the same with Tony. So one cool thing in the self-education industry, or even in whatever industry you're in, if you're prepared, if you plan, if you know it's coming, especially this industry, it'll exponentially grow because more people will be home, more people will want help, more people will want to learn from people who've already been through it, whether that's helping your relationship through a shifting time, or selling, or living, or loving, or coaching, or mindset. When the world shifts, people reach out for help. And in today's world, they're not reaching out for help in their local college, they're reaching out to people like you. That's just the way it is. This industry will not, in my opinion, because I've been through 1999 and I was through 2007, both times this industry, the self-education industry, exponentially grew. So that's a cool thing. But here's the cool part. People's industries that aren't growing, or if they're going through a tough time, they need us, and we get to serve them at the highest level while fueling our business. I hope I'm not here to scare you. I think Jim Rohn and Tony both said, and maybe it was just Tony, that when winter comes, some people freeze and are hungry, and other people snowboard and ski during winter. And it's those that know it's coming, those that can prepare, can ski and snowboard, and we can help others. So if I say it, please know, I think you know, especially those of you who've been with me for so many years, I hope you know in my heart, I am not the guy that says, well, it's going to hell in a handbasket, good luck. It's like, I would just rather be prepared. Last night I stayed up, I could not shut my brain off of saying, what can I do to personally prepare more? And what can I do to help prepare the people who have faith in me and want to learn?
How do you find certainty, clarity, or confidence in a world so uncertain and scary?
Yeah, and that's everything you teach and everything you interview is we can never control the outside world. Never. And I'm sorry to give stupid or silly cliches, but in life, you can let the outside world control you, or you can control it. And I love to think of the two lenses. You're either the thermometer or the thermostat. Really think about that, right? The thermometer goes up and down based on the weather. Just if it's good, it's bad, it's up and down. The thermostat is you adjust the temperature. In times of uncertainty, we must gain the capabilities to become unshakable, to become completely certain. We must be the ones that take ownership. And in times like these, when things are uncertain, most people sit on their hands. You know, they talk about fight or flight. It's really the third F. Most people freeze. Say, let's see where things go. Screw that. You don't have time to see where things go. This is a time where you have to search internally and say, if I can't control the outside world, then I'm going to control the inside. I'm going to gain the capabilities. I'm going to craft a new story. I'm going to do a new morning routine. I'm going to focus on solutions. I'm going to look for opportunity when others see obstacles. I'm going to be grateful for what I have, not for what I lost. All these little things. The best secret to success I could tell you right now is the little things are the big things. There's no magical money machine. There's no button to make your relationship perfect. No pill to make you the perfect parent. It is figuring out what gaps you have, right? Here's where I'm at. I want to be here. What capabilities do I need? What actions do I need to take to fill the gap, to be the better parent, to make more money, to start the business? And that's why in times like these, model people and look for patterns of people that thrive in uncertain times. Model them, pattern them. Learn from people who've already been there and find the courage to take the uncomfortable action. And this is truly the time when you could thrive. Why are some of the biggest companies in the world started during a recession? Because most people are standing around waiting for things to get fixed. And there's the few silent ones that go, hey, while you're all standing around, I'm going to go kick some ass.
How many times have you been doing something you didn't like and then someone says, hey, do you want to go do it? I watch this with kids, right? My son can be like, Dad, I'm bored. I'm a little tired. I'm like, you want to go outside and play basketball? Heck yeah, let's go do it. Let's play horse. I'm going to beat you. Immediately, his energy went through the roof. I didn't feed him anything. I didn't give him any coffee. I didn't give him a speed pill or a Red Bull. I just changed what was on, and his energy immediately changed. Guess what? That energy lives in us. It's always there. We just have to tap into it. And what I'd say, just start practicing tapping into that energy. Just like be doing something in your house or at work and just say, right now, I'm going to crank up the energy. And you can think about what you're cool at. You can think about your state, change your physiology, change your words. Do what it takes to like snap into a different place and watch the confidence go up. Watch it go up immediately and watch your energy go up. Again, I do it as like little tricks to myself. I'll find myself low in energy. I'm like, create some right now. Just make it. And the more you do it, the more you train yourself. It's like going to a gym, right? You know, go to a gym once and work out and come out ripped. You got to go to the gym all the time. Where in your life can more confidence take you to another level? Where can more confidence give you a breakthrough? If that's the case, then you need to watch this again and you need to go through these exercises and you need to find that confidence to just go for it, to just do it. It is better to try and fail than to sit on the sidelines. Sitting on the sidelines, you know, when you talk to older people, you read all these articles and magazines. When you talk to somebody older in their life, they're always regretting on the things they didn't take action on. Lack of confidence will keep you right where you are. Routines help build confidence, right? So there's a million things I could talk about when it comes to confidence. How you have to be courageous. That means taking action. Courageous is just doing it. It's jumping out of the plane and hoping the chute opens, right? You need to be courageous. Then you need to gain the capabilities, right? You need to learn from people playing at a higher level. You're here. You're learning the right stuff. Then you got to be committed. Nothing works without commitment. I mean, diets don't work. Relationships don't work. You got to commit, right? So when you have the courage, the capabilities, and the commitment, that's when confidence ends up showing up, the 4 C's. I go deep on that in my book. But what also helps that is a little hack is routines, right? So you want to know the best way for me to kill my confidence in a day is to wake up and roll over and check my email. Yes, I have so many businesses going on. One of those emails is not going to be great. So if I want to ruin my confidence for a day, I roll over and I'll check my email and I'll go, oh man, I got to deal with that today. Okay, I'll be all right. Like, I know I talk myself out of it. You want to know how I can definitively know I'll have more confidence in a day is I put my phone on airplane mode and I don't touch it. I don't look at it until I go work out, until I think of some things I'm grateful for, until I drink my green drink with some oils in it. If I do those things and then I practice a little gratitude, I set my day up for just confidence. So sometimes routines can be your hack to be fine. Again, use anything in your power to find a way to gain confidence. Hacks are fine as long as you're doing it.
Think of the strongest belief or the thought or the story. The belief, the story,
the thought, whatever, we all have different terminology, something that loops in your head. Think of the one that when you think about it or say it, you feel invincible. I'm meant for more. I'm meant for more. I could do more. I could be more. I know I failed in the past, but all that has been is research and development to be the man or the woman I'm supposed to be. I feel it. I know I can do it. I've accomplished a lot. I can do this. Right? There's those feelings, those thoughts we have where you feel on fire. You feel invincible. Do those thoughts make you feel good? Do those thoughts make you feel empowered? Do those thoughts make you have more confidence? Before confidence, screw confidence. Before confidence comes courage. You don't get confidence unless you have the courage to actually do it, right? So what are the thoughts? What's a thought you have or a story you have that makes you feel courageous? What's a thought you have that makes you feel brave? Put it in your journal, right? What makes you feel brave? What makes you feel alive? What makes you feel like an invincible, unstoppable woman? What makes you feel like a courageous man, right? If those thoughts, if those thinking makes you feel courageous and brave and gets you to move, gets you disturbed with inaction, then why aren't you having those thoughts more? Why aren't you writing them down on your mirror in your bathroom or putting them as your screensaver? Or set an alarm in your phone 3 times a day and it rings. You know, you could set an alarm in your iPhone, I know at least, where when it goes off, you could write words in it. So whatever that thought is, I'm invincible, I survived, I'm nonstop. I can do anything I put my mind to. Why not have your alarm go off 3 days a week and freaking remind you of that? Why not? How often do we have to sell ourselves to reach our goals? Like pretty much every day. So what are the thoughts that make you feel empowered? Not only have more of them, how do you remind yourself to have more of them? Make sense? What are the thoughts, the beliefs, or the story that disempowers you? That fuels imposter syndrome? That fuels self-doubt? You know how many women I've met and they'll say, I just felt like I was really good at being a stay-at-home mom. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I was home this weekend for the holiday. I was home Saturday all day, and I said to my wife, let's not have any help, anybody, or let's just be with our kids. I got done with the day. I'm like, holy shit, I'd love to start 7 more businesses than try. Like, I could never stay home with just my 2 children. I am humanly not qualified. I run 2 businesses, 400 employees. I get to do all this stuff. I could never be a kick-ass stay-at-home mom. That is like, I'm only a stay-at-home mom. Are you kidding me? That is the hardest job in the history of the world, and with the least amount of thank yous. Like, it is the most selfless act that exists. But is that your belief? I'm just a stay-at-home mom. I'm just a worker bee. Like, I'm just a guy that, I do my job good, but that's good. Or I'm too old for this. You got to be good on technology. Or I'm too young. Who would believe me? I'm not an expert. I don't have a following. You know how hard it is to get a following on social media these days? And you don't do shit without a following. So I should just be lucky with where I'm at. Or mine, when I was a kid, when I was 15, I used to think, man, it takes money to make money. I was born on the wrong side of the tracks. I can't be successful. You gotta be rich. You gotta go to school. You gotta have credentials. I barely got out of high school. Who the hell is gonna how could I start a business? I don't know which story you have, but you have one. It's already cost you way too much. You know that. You've already missed opportunities because of it. So why the hell are you listening to it? It's already screwed you over. It's not your friend. It's not your safety mechanism. Stop telling yourself that bullshit. It's not your safety mechanism. It's your insecure subconscious getting you to play small so you don't take risks. We all have it. We all have that voice. But why the hell are you listening to it? So why not take the time to recognize what is that belief, that story, or that thought that gets you stuck? And ready for this deep wisdom? Don't believe it. It's bullshit. But call it out when you hear it. Call it out when you feel it. Don't let it hold you back anymore.
Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video because you are awesome. For 10 more amazing rules from Brendon Burchard, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Goals, deadlines, deliverables. I know that's so basic. That's personal development 101. Just most people have never applied it to learning. In high school, I want to learn French. You can just show up to French class once a week or 3 times a week.